Governor Rockefeller proposed a series of bills called the Taylor Law, which gave teachers the right to bargain collectively. I was a fairly new teacher, no tenure, sitting in a faculty meeting run by the principal, and it always ended with his giving 10 minutes to the Teachers Association president, who began to explain the new law that was recently passed. And he said one of the provisions of this new law was that we were to put together a bargaining committee. And this bargaining committee would bargain terms and conditions of employment. Would there be any volunteers that would be willing to sit? Nobody's hand went up. I didn't know what terms and conditions really meant. But I raised my hand, and a veteran teacher who was kind of like a mentor to me said, "Put your hand up." The president of the Teacher Association said, "Thank you, Mr. Bifaro. I'll get you some more information on what we have to do." With that, the meeting was adjourned. People got in their cars, went home. The very next morning, I was teaching. There was a knock at my door. It was the high school principal's secretary. She said, "The superintendent would like to see you in his office." So I puffed up. I thought, well, see, this is a collective bargaining thing it's going to be something. He wants to get started now in talking about terms and conditions. So I said, okay, I gave the class some work. And I went down to the superintendent's office, and he said, "Mr. Bifaro, I understand that you have volunteered to be the chairperson of the collective bargaining committee." And I said, "Yeah, well, nobody else wants to volunteer. It's a dirty job, but somebody has to," words of that effect, thinking we were having a friendly conversation. He said, "On my desk, I have 2 letters," and he put his hand on one and another hand on another. And he said, "One letter is a letter of resignation as chairman of the negotiating committee. And the second letter here is a letter of resignation from the district. You have until 2:30 this afternoon to choose which letter you're going to sign." Well, I was taken aback. I said, "I'm not going to sign either." I said, "Are you threatening me?" He said, "No, it's a reality. I'm giving you a choice." I went down to the faculty room, was grabbing a cup of coffee, really shaken. And a friend of mine, a colleague, said to me, "What's wrong?" And I explained what happened. And he said, "He threatened you." And I said, "Well, that's the way I interpret it." And he said, "Who else is on the committee?" And I said, "Well, nobody." He said, "Yeah, I'll serve. I'll serve." He began to tell my story to others as they came into the faculty room. And at the end of the day, 18 of us went into the superintendent's office, and they said, "There will be no letter signing today. We are the bargaining team." Thus, little to my knowledge, we had formed a union.